Hey guys, welcome back. Let's talk about how to build expenses tracker using React JS and also Tailwind CSS. Here is a project. Inside the project have many features such as add the values, delete the values, update the values, and also the values are stored inside our local storage. Let's look at the application features. Let's say I add the expenses. My total income is 1,500, and when I enter the expenses like my buy a mouse, the 50, select the categories, shopping, select the date like this, click to add entry. The values are stored inside the entries. My total expenses is 350. My net balance is 1,150. Let's select the tabs like expenses. This is my expenses values. Let's select the income values, all entries. Let's add the income by using input fields. So let's say selling projects, the price is like this, and freelance, I'm going to select the date is this, select date. Selling project, my total income is this, my net balance is. But when I will delete or edit the values, like I would say delete, edit that 450, update your entry, the values are changed as you can see. So the last and final feature is the values are stored inside our local storage. I'm going to refresh my page as you can see. Also you can close the browser and reopen it, you will get the same result. So I will teach you guys how you can build it from scratch using React JS and also Tailwind CSS. Also I'll use simple things, simply states and simple functions that help you to understand everything step by step. So without further ado, let's get started to build the application. Okay guys, so I have successfully configured my project. I have installed React, Tailwind CSS and also the side icon. I will use these technologies to create the project from scratch. First of all, I will design the complete components. So once I will design that, then I will teach you the logic. I will use simple logic without using any library. I just use simple things that will help you to understand how you can use the logic to build the expenses tracker from scratch. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, so I have designed the application using React and Tailwind CSS, but we need to use the logic to add the dynamic data and add all of the functionalities that help us to build the application, right? Like add the record, delete the record, edit, and so on and so forth. So I need to move on our code editor, and step number one, we need to create a state. Open the app.jsx file, and I'm going to create a state. The first state I'm going to use editing ID set is editing, right? So this is my state. Default value I will use null. Next state I'm going to create it is expenses set expenses. Inside there I'm going to add the empty array. Next state I'm going to create it is filter set filter, like this. By default is all, and last one is toast, not toast, toast set toast. And in there I'm going to use, by default is empty array. So guys, I have 4 states: editing, ID, expenses, filter, toast. Step number one, we're gonna work on the toast, display and hide the toast, right? In order to use the toast, I need to create a function that will help us to add and remove the toast. So I'm gonna use notification logic, const show toast, message type, I will assign default as success, create ID using date.now. It will give us the random numbers, means random ID. Toast, assign the object values. The first one is ID, which is coming from this one variable. The next one is a message, which is coming from the parameter in the function, and type, right, which is also coming from as a parameter. When I will call the function, then I need to pass the values message and type. Remember, the next thing I'm going to use set toast, the state, and then I'm going to use the function which are split operator, which used to display the toast, right? So this toast, correct. After that I'm going to add the time period. When the message will be appear, then it will display more than 4 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever the time you will use that. So in order to use that, I'm going to use set timeout, that is function. Inside there I'm going to assign the 4000, and then I'm going to use set toast. By the way, I'm going to change it as a toast, and also I need to change that toast on there, toast, okay. And same thing I'm going to do previous.filter, passing the t means as a parameter, t.id is not equal to our id. That's it. So this is a function which help us to display the toast, right? Next function I need to create that, which is remove the toast, okay. Here is the logic. Say toast previous, use the method which help us to check the ID, right? After that I need to pass as a props in my component. The first prop I'm going to pass is toast as a toast, and remove toast, right? Okay, I will use this one, show toast on layer. This time I just assign the values on there to display and hide the toast. So let's move on the logic in the toast. So I need to destruct the values. The first one is toast and remove toast, right? So I would like to use map method on there because I need to display multiple messages. So yeah, so I'm gonna use toast dot map, assign the value, whatever the value you will be assigned on there. I'm gonna use t means toast and paste the complete code on there. Use return keyword as well on there. After that, I will need to add the conditional rendering to assign the different type of classes on there. The first one is I need to use post the type is success. Then I would say peachy green 900 to 80 and border should be green 700 like this, and text should be green 100. Otherwise I would say toast dot type is error and display like this one message beachy. Yeah, it's perfect. So this is our logic. Okay, the next, also I'm going to add the key as well on the t.id's key. Okay, alright, so let's move on there. So this is a check, so I would say give me a second. Toast dot type is success to display the check. I'll use manually, guys. Type is equal to success and display this one. Right, so same thing I'm gonna do on there. So just copy and paste on there. Toast should be error. So then I need to display that on there. Okay, and yeah, great. Same thing I'm gonna do on there. It is similar, but just change the type is info. Right, so in there I need to display the message which is coming from the toast.message. Right, and so I need to add the event on click remove toast, passing the parameter as id which is coming from the top by using that method. So that's perfect. So let's look at that. You can't see anything else. It means it will work when you will call the show toast function, that this message will be appear. Okay, so let's move on, and we're gonna work on the card summary because inside they have a cards like these cards. So I need to create a function that will help us to display the many things. So let's see, calculate income, balance, and what is the next? Total income, total expenses. So yeah, we're gonna work on that, and let's do that. Const total income is expenses dot filter, and passing the values exp. And I'm so confused to display the suggestions. So let's use manually everything. X type should income then I need to use reduce function, and there we need to pass two parameters. The first one is the accumulator, the second one is experience, right? So I don't need to use I need to use accumulator, reduce, okay, accumulator, addition by experience, right? And use comments here. So this is a variable that will help us to calculate the values which are stored inside the expenses, right? Total income. Okay, the next function I need to get that is total income. Total income was total income from expenses. Same thing I'm going to do, filter experience type income. So I would say I have reduce accumulator experience, accumulator plus experience dot amount. Okay, by the way, I need to use total expenses on there, and type is expense, right? So last one is balance. So I would say const balance total income negative by total expense. So these are three variables, so we're going to pass it in a probes in our cost summary, right? So let's do the total income, assign the values total income, total expenses, and balance, assign the balance. Okay, very simple. And yeah, so we're gonna use them as a probe, destruct them one by one, and we're gonna use simple logic on there to display the values. So I would say first I need to use total income dot to fixed. It means I need to display only on two characters. Okay, so we're gonna use the same thing on there, which is total expenses dot to fixed 2. Okay, and before that I would say total, and so I would like to use that as a different type of conditional rendering on there to assign the different type of things. So I'm going to cut that. Give me a second. Okay, I would say if the balance is greater than or equal to 0, then I would say from blue 500 to 10 to blue 600 to 10, border should be blue 500 by 20. Otherwise I would say to from orange 50, and yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to save the file, and outside of the single quotation I would like to use backdrop, but I would use on the backdrop the below sum, and yeah, it is perfect. So let's move on, and we use same logic. Okay, same logic on there, so I would cut that, and I'm going to use balance. Text should be blue and orange, text SM Yeah, it's perfect. I'm gonna save the file and let's move on. And here is the net balance, so I need to change that as what I'm gonna do, math.abs, and I'm passing the balance .to fixed. Okay, save the file, and it is also perfect for that. So I would also use conditional rendering on there. I would say first I'm going to use padding balance greater than equal to 0, and yeah, it's perfect. And also I'm going to use padding outside 4. Okay, I already mentioned that padding on there. Right, cool. And also I will use the conditional rendering on there as well to add the different type of color combination. So I would like to use balance greater than equal to 0. The text should be blue, otherwise I will say text should be orange. 400. So I'm going to save the file and look at that, the different type of styling on there. And when you will change the values inside the expenses, it should be displayed on there. So let's try to execute that. So let's say I'm going to refresh my page and give me a second. Okay, it should be displayed, but I need to use another logic on there, guys, for displaying the values. So yeah, okay guys, so we're gonna work on the next component, which is add expenses. So first of all, I will create a state and I'm going to pass the values. Form data, set form data is object-based values. Reason for using the object-based values on there, because I will get the multiple input values and store them inside our object-based keys. Like first one is I'm going to add the description. The next one, amount, and category is default is best. But also I'm going to add the category, by default is nothing, and the next one is date. Yeah, and why I'm getting the problem on there, okay, I need to add the comma, right? So I'm going to pass these states like form data, editing ID, filter, not filter, editing ID, form data, and short host inside our form expenses. So I'm going to open it in the new tab. So we're going to pass as a props inside there. Then we're going to work on the logic to create the functions. So later this time I just assign the value as a prop, and I will use them inside the add expenses form to display the conditional rendering on there, right? So let's do that. Form data, first one is the form data, set form data, and editing ID is right. Then set editing ID like this, expenses, and yeah, so these are props. So I need to pass on there one by one, just get the solution. If I will get form data, I just get that one by one, and yeah, these are states which are coming from there, right? And I will teach you why I have been using these method. Reason for using that, I will use the logic to display the store the value in the local storage. So I will teach you on later. So this is a very basic way, guys. Okay, so first of all, I need to add the conditional rendering. Means I need to assign the different type of color combinations. So yeah, here is the first one. So I need to remove it, and I will use the conditional rendering is editing, then display the edit entry, otherwise display the add new entry, right? Let's move on. So here is the label. So I would say on there is form data, type is expenses, right? Then I would say border red 500, and yeah, it's perfect. Why I have been facing form data. Okay, this is a form data I passed on there is form data. There are no issue, you can use any method you want. Form, okay, form data, right? Cool, right? So yeah, let's check it now. Another things. Okay, here's input. So I would assign the value is expenses, right? Just assign the expense and the expense. Great. I will use the logic on later, guys. So yeah, it is perfect. Expenses, and I would like to use same logic on there. It should be form data, type is income, and display the different type of color combinations on there, right? Great. And here I would like to assign the values in the double quotation is income. Okay, and yeah, it's perfect. And okay, here is the input field. So I would like to assign the values form data.description, and let's move on, and we will see this is a conditional rendering. Give me a second. I would description, yeah, it's perfect. And here is a conditional rendering on there. Okay, I would like to cut that and use. By the way, I will create a state inside this one page, then I will use the errors. I will just set errors. Okay, give me a second, I just check it. Yeah, so I will use this one instead on there. I would like to check it errors.description. I will work on it on later. This time I just assign as conditional rendering, guys. So I target the state which is errors. Inside that I will create this one as a key. If this will be exist, so display the error message. Okay, errors.description. Okay, so let's look at that another page. Right, so this would follow, and I would assign the values form data.amount. These values are coming from my there, right? Because I pass as a probe on there, so I am using these values on input field to get the values and store the value inside the form data. Okay, let's move on, and I would like to use this method on there. Just change the errors amount is exist like this, right? And okay, let me check this one as well. This is the input. I also mentioned that is errors dot amount is exist, so I would say border weight. Okay, border weight 500, otherwise border 600, focus border purple 500, right? Let's move on. Okay, this is a category, and the category I would like to assign the value in the state in the select is value should be found data.category. Okay, and also I would like to use on there is errors that category is exist to display the border red 500, otherwise display this one border purple 500. Focus. Okay, great. So this is a category, and I'm using same logic to display the category error. Okay, so just copy it and I'm going to paste on there. This will be category. Okay, copy and just paste it. Let's move on. So this is a type, the value is found data.dat, and also I will use the conditional rendering on there as well. So errors.dat border red 500, otherwise yeah, it's perfect. Same thing I'm gonna do on there is errors.date is exist to display that, otherwise do not display that. Okay, let's move on. And okay, I also mentioned there is editing to update the entry, otherwise display the add entry. And also I need to use is conditional rendering. Editing is true to display this value. Okay, yeah, it's perfect guys, so let's look at that. Okay, but okay, great, but the default I need to display that. Okay, so these are input values, so work on it on later. This time I just check it. What is, give me a second, income, where is the income? Okay, here is income. Okay guys, so give me a second. So I would like to use that text should be gray 400 and BG green, in the income BG green 500, BG red 500 to 20. Okay, and give me a second. If the value is, I would say border red, this border red, okay, BG red 520, and text should be red 300. Okay, otherwise border should be gray 600 when I hover the mouse. And also I need to change few things guys, give me a second. I will remove all of the classes from there, use BG gray 800 by 50, and text should be gray 400 when hover that border should be gray 500. Okay, let me open it. Okay, it is perfect guys. This is the income, but I will use same logic on there. So bg gray is 600. This is the expenses. Okay, and why I need to remove that. Okay, bg gray 800 by 50. Text should be gray 400 when hover that bg gray 500 is placed on there. So let me save it and look at that guys. Okay, when I hover that, and I would say border. Okay, and yeah, it is perfect guys. So let's hover the mouse. Yeah, so everything is great on there. So I use simple conditional rendering on there to display different type of things. Okay, so guys, we're gonna work on the logics. So in a minute I will remove this one and use like this. First of all, I will create the function const validate. Okay, just look this, and I will create a new object like new errors. Inside there I will use the if statement that I have like this. Font data description is the trim news new error description, and like this. This is very simple logic to handle the event. After that you need to use set errors and target your new errors like this, and after that you need to use return object.keys new error length .0. This is your function that will handle the input values, right? So I will use them inside my handle submit function. In the handle submit function I will create it handle submit. I would like to use that function like if validate form is exist, then I just use not show trust, please fix that. Okay, and also I need to use return. After the if statement I need to create a const expense data as the object. In the expense data I would like to use form data, which is coming from as a prop. Then I would like to use amount, and we need to convert it as a parse float, because I will use that as a number. Parse float. Okay, form data amount and id. Okay, the id is editing id is exist, otherwise I need to use state.now function. Okay, then I use if editing id is exist. Give me a second, I will show you. Set expenses function, and in there I'm going to use map method, not map. I will use simple logic on there, which is ps.map experience, the experience id equal to editing id's match. Then I would like to use expense data, otherwise display the expense, right? Then I need to use set editing id as null, and also I need to use show toast should be success. Okay, why I'm getting the problem on there. Okay. Okay, I'm getting problem, guys. Add expenses form. Give me a second, give me a second. Okay, so yeah, where is my phone? Okay, give me a second, guys. I think something is wrong on there. Guys, give me a second. I will. Okay, the problem is this. So I would like to use there. Right, so this is my handle function. This is my, let's open it and refresh the page. Let's check it in the errors description. Move on, there is description. Yeah, it is perfect. So this is handling on there, and this will use on there. Okay, yeah, it is perfect. But I don't know where is problem, so let me come in out and cut this one, save the file, and let's see. Add expenses from 79. Description. Okay, let me save it down. Okay, give me a second. I would like to use as a checked. Yeah, I'm getting the values, and I'm gonna paste the code and save the file. It is perfect, guys. So it is some little issue. Okay, so I have a many function, like first one is handle submit and validate form. So let's create another functions or another things. Okay, this is the editing part. If this is perfect, otherwise I would like to use set expenses parentheses, make fi expenses and expense data like this, and use show toast. Inside there I cut this one, use literal template and target form data. The type is equal to income. Then I also assign the income, right? And otherwise I need to display the expense. Okay, after this I will use edit successfully, and after this one success, right? And the last one is once form data will be submitted, I would assign the default values, description, amount, set error is nothing. Okay, set error also I need to use right. The last and final function I need to create it is cancel edit. Okay, So const cancel edit, and I'm gonna set is editing nothing, set form data as object based, and I will okay, this is expense, copy and paste just there, and also I need to use set data is nothing and show toast editing cancelled info, right? So I have a function is cancel edit, handle submit, and validate form. So let's work on the handle submit. So I'm going to copy it and move on down, and first of all I will call the function inside this one. Okay, update or add entry. So I need to use on click and handle submit. Also I call the another function is on click handle, not edit, what is function name, cancel edit. Okay, so I called two functions on each button, right? So let me save it and let's see. Yeah, it's perfect. So let's work on the one by one in the form, and when user will click on that to display the different type of things or different type of color combinations. And yeah, so here is the entity type. In the entity type I would use this pulpy expense. Okay, and also okay, this is the entity type expense, and the expense border red. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so I will use checked form data type equal to expense, and also I will use on change event when user will change the value. I target set form data, and also I need to use set error nothing. Okay, set errors, give me a second, set, also I will use the as category nothing. Okay, and this will be nothing, like empty object, this, right? So this is the expenses. In the expenses I need to change the color combination is 500 BG green, and text should be green. And also I'm going to use same logic on there is copy, just paste, inside there. This will be, first I need to check it, value expenses, this will be values income, just change the value, and that's perfect. So here's a description. Okay, just copy it, copy this. Okay, I now paste it on change event. Form data type is target value, and I need to remove the category from there. And the next one I use if statement, if errors dot description, set errors, like error description is nothing, like this. So I just copy this logic and I'm gonna paste on there, and this will be amount, so I just copy the amount and amount. Okay, let me check the category, and the category I will use same logic like this, copy, and where the categories have and type amount to category, and also I will use category. Okay, and let's see. Okay, last one is date, so this is the date. Set okay, yeah, perfect. So I have assigned the values on each input field that help us to handle the event. When I call the function like handle submit, then I will get the value. The next thing is, give me a second, I just get my, in the source I'm gonna paste the categories. So I have a categories folder, inside there I have a file, so I will use this one file inside there to display the categories. So what I'm going to do on there, I'm going to use import, it's like the categories from utility, so I will use them in the select box. Where is give me a second, I just check it, where is the select box. Okay, so it's option. After the option closing is categories, and I'm going to select the form data type dot map, and passing the value, whatever the value you will pass on there, and the same value you can call inside the option. You must be use the keys cat values cat, and this is optional background color. So let me save it and click on it. I'm getting the values, right? And when okay, also I'm getting the problem when I change the event. So let me fix it. 43. Okay, I think I need to use return key. No. Category dot type dot net. Save it. Why? Let me refresh it. So let me change it. When I change the value, I'm getting the problem. Okay. Okay. Nice. Let me refresh. Let's. Yeah, I'm getting the result, but okay. 240 undefined. Okay. So guys, I need to move on the top. I think the problem is where is the label? This is the first and this is the second. So first of all, I need to check the first. Form data type is expense, type is radio, name is okay. I copy it and paste after the type. Okay, and the next unchange form data type value. Yeah, it is perfect. So let's use another. Okay, the next one is here. It's problem income. So I'm going to save the file and let's try to use it. Yeah, it is working, as you can see, guys. So the problem is like this one. I used ecom, but the problem is income. Let's use this one and let's click on it. I'm going to refresh my page. Also refresh it. Let's use salary. Select the tag, add entry. As you can see, next problem is a toast message. Okay, let's use it. Is fixed, guys. So yeah, so I just use this and let's try. Okay, as you can see, the same messages appear, but the problem is income this video. Okay, so just use income. Do not move on the map method inside the category. Right, once I store the video, then I need to display the video inside this one card. So let's try to execute that, and I'm going to use salary and select the date. Yes, add entry. I'm getting the value, as you can see. Right, so let's add the expenses values. 1000. First I'm going to use mouse. 1000. Select the category is shopping, and I'm going to use that. Right, as you can see, my net balance is like this. Alright guys, so we're gonna fix the issues which are coming from the toast message. So when you will enter something details inside there, like income or expenses, then you should be able to see the message. So let's fix it. So I need to move on, just remove that, remove this one, and we need to open the toast. And the toast, let's find out the problem. Toast is map. Okay, here's the problem. I just used T to check the type and also replace all of the things on there which are used to display the message. So let's try to execute it. So I'm going to refresh my page and I'm going to use monthly following like this. Select the date and I'm getting the toast message, and click on it, it has closed. Also I will get the message, error message, when I press add entry. I'm getting the message on there, right? And also here is a problem when you will press add entry, and then I need to change the background color of the input field. So before moving on that, I will show you one more important thing. If you face problem to display the value inside the card, inside this one card, please check this one code. So expense.amount and expense.amount, you should be use similar things, but in there you need to change the type is expenses and this will be income. Right, so let's move on the input field on the first one. Okay, so I would say this is expenses, this is the top, and yeah, here is a I'm getting like there. Okay, and this is a type is found at a description. Placeholder, where is placeholder? I just show description, and yeah, it is description, but why I'm getting, okay, I would use like this thing. Okay, just copy this code and we need to paste on there like this. Just change it to description. Save the file. Let's try to, yeah, I'm getting that. As you can see, everything is perfect. Let's move on the filter options. I'm going to close it. So I have states, like first one is filter and set filter. So we're gonna move on there, and we're gonna pass as a props as a filter, and assign the value is the state is filter. The next one is set filter. Assign the value is set filter. You need to open that, and you need to destruct the props filter, and I would say set filter. Right, then you need to use simple logic on there. The first one is, this is the expenses list bar. Okay, I just use this one on there, guys, and open it. This, just give me a second, I just copy, I just got that from there, and we open that and paste. Right, inside this one file I need to add the logic that will help us to display the different type of content, like there. Give me a second, I will show you on there, and different type of color combinations. So what I'm going to do on there, I will use there is method array, and the array I will assign the value like this, all income expenses, but in there I'm going to use expense, and this will be income. Right, okay, paste the code, and I'm getting the problem. Okay, no, and this is a starting curly bracket, this is a closing, and okay, I think I need to give me a second, I will undo that, and just a minute I will show you from screen, guys. Curly brackets, array, all income expense, array, use filter type, whatever the value will be passed on there, and I'm going to paste all of my code. Remove this one logic on there, and the first step I would say to use on there is key is filter, right? No filter, I use filter type, and the next one is I need to add the event on click, execute the function, which function set filter, and assign the type is filter type. The next thing I would say, change the color combinations, like filter equal to filter. Then I would say I will use manually things, guys. I would say in BGB variant, or from purple, and the size of the purple is 600 to pink, 600 text should be white, shadowology. Otherwise I would say array 400. When I hover the mouse, the text should be white. Hover it, peach gray, 750. Okay, I'm going to save the file, and inside there I use filter type equal to all. and whatever the text you will be assigned on there, I'm gonna add all entries. Let me save the file, open the web page. Okay, I did not get anything else. Okay, let's try to execute the button queue. No. Give me a second. Filter tab. I think okay. Give me a second. All problems is coming from my there. Okay, so let's open it. I'm getting values, you can see, guys, right? And here are some issues inside the padding, so let's find out the problems and we're gonna fix it, right? So this is the 2XL, and why this, remove it, and why I'm using this one there, just remove it, paste on there. Perfect, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna refresh my page. So we are successfully used the tabs. So last and final thing is expenses list. So in the expenses list you need to pass few things. So the first one is filter expenses, edit and delete. So I'm gonna save the file and we're gonna create a function. Let me open okay, so we will work on this one component. So I'm going to create a function filter expense. Okay, so filtered expenses and assign the values expenses dot filter. Whatever the value will be passed on there, I'm going to pass the exp, and I'm going to use the condition on there is if filter type is all return true, otherwise I need to get the return is expense dot type equal to filter, right? So when I will pass this one value on there, we would be able to see the values. So just open that and I'm gonna copy this one, paste on there, and we but also I will use delete and edit method later. This time I just assign this one expenses to display the values, right? So let's work on that. So I'm gonna cut that, use curly bracket, and I'm gonna call it dot length equal to 0. So display this one code, otherwise I need to display this one code like this. I also remove this one else statement like this. I'm gonna save the file and look at that, guys. Only a single entry, I mean nothing is appear inside there. But when you will add the value, the values will be stored. But we need to add the filter method on there as well. So this is our system, and yeah. So let me okay, just cut it and use filter expenses dot map xp and just use this one there and just change the values like that. So I would say to display the expenses, I mean expenses description, use expense dot description. and this will be category. So just copy and paste on there, just change it to display the category like this, and this is a values. So yeah, I will use on there is conditional rendering. Income type is plus, and if the income type is income, to display the add, otherwise display the minus sign. And we would say expense dot amount. Also I would use to fixed to display the number, right? And also I will, but before using any other logic, I check the top to bottom where I will use the conditional rendering to change the color combinations. So it is one, okay, so first one is the expense type equal to income, then BG in bread 500 to 20. Text should be 400. Otherwise I would BG red 520. Text should be red 400. Okay, I'm gonna save the file, and also give a second. Also use on there is conditional rendering on the expense dot type is income. Then I would use trending up. Otherwise I would use trending down, right? So I'm gonna remove this one. So let's move on, and okay, here is a calendar. After the calendar we need to add the date, right? Expense dot date. Okay, but before using it you need to use new date function like this. In the date function you need to pass expense dot date to local date string, and type is EN US. Year is numeric, month is short, day is numeric. Okay, and what is next? Okay, the last and final thing I think I would say expense dot type is income to display this one color combination, otherwise display the red color combination. So I'm gonna save the file and let's try to use it. So I would say file and write the type, click on it. I'm getting the value, as you can see. If your value is decreased, then you will get different type of content on there. This is my salary tag, this is my date, this is my description detail, this is my okay. Let's try to use what expenses. So I will say buy a mouse 350. I would like to use shopping, and this date, the next entry, I'm getting the message the balance has been changed. When I click on income, I'm getting the income. When I click on the expense, I'm getting the expense. So last and final thing is when I click on the edit button to get the data from there and display on this one input fields, these input fields guys, and the delete feature. So let's work on that. So I'm gonna close, I'm gonna leave that. So move on the app.jsx file, and we would work on the handle edit, const handle edit. Passing there is expense, whatever the value you will be passed on there, I'm going to use expense, and call set form data, which is a state, and they have object, on the object based, you need to move on the top, copy all of the code or content and paste on there. This is the description, right? But in the double quotation, you need to use expense.description like this, and same thing you need to do on the expense.amount, but also you need to use toString function, right? Category, you need to use expense.category, and that is expense.dat. Expense dot type, and after this one, parentheses and curly bracket, you need to use set is editing and assign the id is expense.id, which is coming from the parameter. I will use this one function inside there, and I will pass the id which is coming from there. In a minute I will show you guys from this one expense filter. Okay, let's move on. And last and final thing I'm gonna use on the short host, editing expenses or whatever the value you will pass on there. I'm gonna use entry loaded for editing, and in there the second parameter you need to pass in there is info. The next function you need to create that should be delete the data. Okay, so let's work on that. I'm gonna use handle delete and const expense to delete expense.find expense, and I'm gonna use expense id equal to id. Then the next one I'm going to use set expenses and use the filter method inside there, right? Set expenses, just use expense. I will show you a simple thing guys for you. I would say expenses dot filter expenses dot id not equal to id, and last and final thing is short delete like this. By the way, I will change the value on there is, I will use the simple logic to display something else. So I would say expense to delete that tiny up dot, and I'm going to use type is equal to income, and then I would say income otherwise expenses, and delete entry, and last one is error. Okay, entry deleted, whatever the value you will be passing there. I'm going to use deleted successfully. Right, so these are functions which are used to handle the edit and handle it. So I'm going to copy this one function, move on there. I'm going to use handle edit, pass this one function, and also I'm going to pass as a part handle delete, pass move on there, and you should be destruct them. Handle edit, give me a second, I just get that. Handle edit and handle delete. So you need to copy this one function, move on there, and this is the edit button, right? Inside there you need to pass on click handle edit, and in there you need to pass, give me a second, I just check it, expense. Okay, like this is coming from your there. Okay, and the next thing I'm gonna do is, this is my delete button, so I would like to use on click handle delete. So I would like to use handle delete on the function as a parameter is expense.id. That's it. So let's try it. I'm going to click on it. I'm getting the values, as you can see. And let's try to edit. And I'm going to change the values, as you can see. Right, so let's use delete. The record has been deleted. Everything is working fine. So yeah, this is the expenses tracker, but the cool and final thing is when you refresh the page, you can't see any details inside there. So in order to fix that, I would like to use local storage feature. So I need to, first of all, I need to set the value. So use effect, and the dependency where I would use expenses will be changed. This use effect will be execute, and I'm going to use if expense length is greater than 0, then I need to call the local storage and set items with the name of expense, and we're going to convert it into JSON.stringify. The next thing, this function is this effect will be executed when the page will be loaded and the value will be stored. But the next thing is you need to get the data, right? So I'm going to create another use effect. Use effect and concept expenses like this. Just not parse local storage get item name of the expenses like this that you have passed on earlier to set the item, and call the set items to pass the set values, right? And what the next thing I'm gonna do? Okay, so I'm gonna save the file. Let's try to use it. First of all, I'm gonna refresh my page, open my inspect element, and where is the application here, and I'm gonna use what select the categories freelancer, select the date, click on it. I'm getting the value, as you can see. This is my key description. Let me destruct them. Selling code. Okay, so yeah, when I refresh my page, the values are stored inside our local. If I will remove, let's say I will close browser, I open the terminal, give me a second, I open it, I stopped my project, so I'm gonna execute one more time command. Let's open it. As you can see, the values are perfectly stored inside your project, inside your application, right? So let's change it to code, change the values 1700, update in free, and yeah, cool. Let's use the expenses. And yeah, guys, this is a cool project for you guys. I hope you understood as well, and you can use this one for fun based or whatever the work you will be used on there. So these are project, guys. So thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day.